Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Warren Canonical, and you're watching My Life Icons. Today's episode of My Life Icons is the one very close to my heart, and it's the most special among those I've already done because my icon, my guest for this episode, is my niece because she is the daughter of my late sister cousin, Irish canonical Brannan, and Mr. Glenn Brannan. Later, you will know why she is my icon. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Chalet Lizette Brannan. Hi, Chalet.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm good.
I heard yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday, right? You attended a fashion show, and that's for
Yes.
Macy's Fashion Week for kids, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one thing that we really have to talk about now because I never thought you'd model because of course you started as an actress. By the way, to my
Mm.
subscribers, to those who are watching right now, thank you very much. Chalet is my niece. She is the daughter of my first cousin and of course Mr. Glenn Brannan. She's now based in Burbank, California, but Chalet was born and raised in Orlando, Florida, right?
Yes.
How was it? How was it? How was it growing up in Florida? I understand you started your acting career, Hollywood acting career, at the age of 6. But before the age of 6, can you share us your fondest memories growing up in Orlando, Florida?
Um, we live in like the little like outskirt of Orlando, so we would definitely go to Disney a lot. I think that's like one of the biggest things is we would go to Disney like almost every weekend. So like I think that's one of the fondest memories.
Wow, that's great. And your mother mentioned to me in one of our conversations that you really love to go to the Philippines to visit the Philippines. Yes, Chalet's mother is a Filipina. That's why we're cousins. But for the longest time, Chalet really wanted to really visit and meet her relatives, her family in the Philippines. But it's so hard, especially when she already started showbiz. But I hope someday you can already come here and visit the Philippines. The weather in Florida, I believe, is very much similar to the weather in the Philippines. So you wouldn't have a hard time adjusting to the weather. Did your mom mention that to you about the weather here?
Yeah, she said it was very humid, just like Florida.
So that you would not have a hard time adjusting. Now, 6 years old. You said you started at 6. Can you tell me the story? When was the first time you realized that you have this, and what was your first big break?
Well, I actually did start modeling when I was 6, and then we transitioned over to acting. And I like got a like I think the first thing I ever did was a little like Disney commercial for Animal Kingdom. So that's the first thing I did, and that's kind of what started it.
Oh, that's great. You mentioned about Disney, right? Your mother, of course, you know that she worked for Disney. Did you get a lot of freebies? So what are the perks of being a daughter of a Disney employee? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Disneyland is the happiest place on earth, and it's in the United States of America. And the very first Disney is in Orlando, where my cousin Iris, her mother, was working. Did you feel the perks of being a daughter of a Disney employee?
Yeah, we get in for free because she works there, so that's why we would go like almost every weekend because like we could go in for free, and then I could bring my friends. I remember every time on my birthday, I would like bring my friends to the park instead of having like a big party. I would just have it at Disney.
Ah, yeah, that's great. Did you have an opportunity to go there with your grandma Ladi? Of course, my mother, Ladi Gokor, and I believe she stayed there for a few years in your house in Orlando. Did you get a chance to also go with her in Disney? Or
Yeah. I kind of vaguely remember that because I was when I was like really little. we also took her to Disneyland here in California as well. So yeah, we went with her a lot.
There's Disney in California too?
Yes, there's Disney in Florida and then there's Disney in California.
As far as you know, how many Disneys are there in the US? So we have one in Florida, one in California. That's it.
Um, there's one in Paris, which I've been to. Um,
You do modeling, you do singing. I know you love singing. And of course, acting. Is it safe to say that acting is your first passion? Is it your first love, acting, right? That's the one that gave you really the major break.
mhm.
Yes. What was your first project? Your first movie?
My first project, well, I did a few movies called The Sparrows and A Horse for Summer. Those were like my first like projects, really like my first big movies, and they ended up going on Netflix. That was pretty cool.
Did you have to audition, or you were just hired right away, or did your father or your mom have connections with someone, a producer, or you had to really undergo the audition process?
Um, we actually had like my manager kind of knew them. My manager at the time kind of knew them, and then like they saw like my acting, and then they said that they wanted me. So that's how that kind of happened.
Ah, okay. That's great. Thank you for sharing. If you wouldn't mind, is it okay for you to share like a memorable audition? The, I'm sure you did audition, right? For parts. Because
Hmm.
yeah, when I checked your, how do you call that account? IMDb? Is that IMDb?
Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah.
checked your IMDb account, and I thought, Chalet, that you just have, let's say, 10 movies. And I found out that it's like 100 already. It's like 100. And I'm sure it's so hard to memorize all the titles and everything. But was there like a memorable edition that you can share to us?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. There's one that I did called Fluor, and I think I did it when I was like 8 or 9. And the audition was originally for boys, and then but they let me audition anyways, and then I beat out all of the boys, and then they just casted me instead. So that was pretty cool.
That's crazy. That's really memorable. Like when you beat everyone, so
Mhm.
you got the part.
Yes.
And so I believe there was a change of the script, no, from a boy role to a female role because you did great with the audition. Wow, that's good. What is the project that you are currently working on now?
I'm currently learning the script for the new Star Trek that we are going to be starting to film in November.
And that's a very special project, especially to your dad. Your dad is a Star Trek fan, so you doing this is really very special to him. How about you? How do you view Star Trek? Do you know Star Trek or?
Yeah, I know it mainly because of him. Like I would always see him watching it, so that's how I know it. So it was pretty cool to be a part of it.
Hmm. And speaking of movies, what was the last movie shown, like already shown, the latest one that's already in websites now, or was already shown in theaters? Do you remember?
Oh my goodness. I know Tinker just came out on Netflix. Um, so yeah, that was probably like one of the latest ones that came out.
Tinker. Did you say Tinker?
Yes.
Tinker. Okay.
Yeah.
Check that one out. I haven't seen that. You said Netflix, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna check that one out. what is that role that you believe is written for you? Something that you think is very natural and you did not have to exert so much effort because you believe seems like the script was written for you. Was there a role like that?
Not quite yet. I'm still looking for that, but There's been a few where like I would see like some similarities of me in it, but yeah.
So far, Chalet, what was the role that you think, or very draining, or very physically demanding, was there?
Well, I do a lot of drama, so that means a lot of like emotion. So there's definitely a bunch of parts where I've had to like do a very emotional scene. So that was probably like the most challenging ones for me.
Mhm. I've seen a few of your movie trailers, and Crepitus was, I believe, very physically demanding and emotionally too. But in terms of the emotions, your Sparrow's role is, I believe, also very emotional, right? Like that movie.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, that's good. Who are your? I'm sure because you're in showbiz, you've met a lot of people. So, who are those celebrities, actors, singers, or models you consider to be your role models or your icons or your influences? Can you name a few?
I really like Zendaya. She does it all. She like acts, models, sings, dances. So I love her a lot. I like Storm Reed, as well as Karen Gillian, because Karen Gillian, she like can play a comedy and then she can play like a really serious role. So she has a really amazing range to her.
That's a perfect roster of influences. Especially Zendaya, yes, I love her so much. Enough about your acting career. You're a singer, of course. And how's your singing career? Do you already have, is there a recording project soon, something in the oven?
I just signed with a music producer, Andrew Lane, which he's done like High School Musical. He's done yeah, he's done Hannah Montana. He's done a bunch of like Disney as well as like non-Disney. I know he's worked with the Backstreet Boys, so he's done a lot of things. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, let me know about the update. Of course, keep me posted, update me, and we will, of course, I will help you promote the album. And your fans are waiting for that. Your modeling career, how did it start? Well, you mentioned earlier it started when you were 6. But what do you consider so far your biggest modeling break or biggest modeling project so far?
Yeah, like I said, I started when I was 6. So then I transitioned to acting. So I'm more of like an actor that models. So like whenever people like need me or want me, then I will do it. But I think this LA Kids fashion modeling fashion week was pretty cool. That was a pretty big one. I modeled for my friend Ava Coker, who she's on Disney Channel, and she came out with a clothing line, and she had me model for it down the runway. So that was also a really big one too.
Yeah, your father sent me some pictures and videos of the Macy's Fashion Week for kids, and I can say that you look like really, really a supermodel. So, and I couldn't blame, of course, the organizers and Macy's for also getting you as one of the models because you don't only have the looks for it, but you have the influence because you've done hundreds of movies. So, a lot of children, teenagers like you have already somehow came to love you because of the movies you've worked in. Um, and then, of course, everything went smoothly, and you have a blessed life with a perfect family. And then the doctor said you had cancer. I don't mean to be negative, and I don't like you to. Of course, no one wants you to relive that experience. But if you can talk about it for everyone to also learn from it. How did you know he had cancer? How did your parents or the doctors tell you? That must have been very difficult for them to break the news to you.
Yeah, so it was actually on the 4th of July, and I was like really tired, and I never usually like take naps or anything, but I was really tired, and we went out to go watch like the fireworks, and my dad had realized that like my stomach was like extended a little bit, so then they took me to the hospital. and they ran like scans and stuff, and they knew it was going to be something bigger, but they didn't know what it was yet. So they admitted me overnight, and then they told us in the morning.
What was your first reaction? But you were 10. What was your
Mm-hmm.
reaction? How did you feel?
Uh, well, yeah, like I was 10, so to be honest, I didn't really know. Like I knew of of cancer, but I didn't really know what it was. So I was just like, okay, whatever, it's fine. And I just went through with it. And yeah.
But you're a survivor. Your story is so inspirational. And what was really the reason why? What was the reason why you were coping so well, especially during the time you were undergoing treatment?
um, well, I was 10, so like I really didn't know much, so I kind of just like took it and just took it with pride and just kept on going throughout the whole thing. So yeah.
Hmm. But of course, even if that thing happened, there was a silver lining. From then on, you became an ambassador for some organizations, right? Can you tell me more about
Yeah.
your projects related to you being a cancer survivor?
Yeah, I worked with Beads of Courage, which they are basically a company that gives like beads for each milestone that you hit whenever you have cancer or like a life-threatening illness. So like they'll give you like a bead for like your first week of treatment or a bead for getting your blood drawn. And then you'll have like a long like bracelet of like beads. So I worked with them, so that was really fun.
Yeah, thank you, Shale. You're like a heroine to kids. You just don't know because, of course, not all cancer victims who are children, pediatric cancer victims can reach out to you. Not all of them can really thank you. Not all of them can really send you messages, but I'm sure a lot of them have changed their perspectives about their situation because of what you did. So thank you very much. It's like educating them. Well, anyway, speaking of education, since you started at 6 and until now you're really active with establishing and making your career matter, how did you manage to still continue with your studies? Did it stop at a certain point or it just continued?
It was definitely hard because I was still in Florida for a long time. Because we started going out to LA when I was like 8 or 7ish, and we like would go. It started to get to the point where we'd go like every other week or every month. So I would like my teachers would give me work, and then I would just do it, and then when I came back, I would just turn it in. So I had a school that was very like lenient and like helped a lot with that, and they like kind of understood.
That's perfect and that's good because your teachers, your classmates understood your situation and at least there's a special arrangement. That's good. Who is aside from your teachers and maybe some of the classmates that you have to call, who coached you, or let's say if you will find it hard to finish an assignment or find it hard to understand a lesson, do you call someone for help? Like, hey, what's the answer to this question? Or can you please do this for me? I'm in the shooting. Can you please write this for me?
Um, well, I went to a school for middle school and elementary, and the teachers kind of helped me when I needed help, but mainly like if I had anything had trouble on, I would just like when I came back they would just help me on it. But when I came out to California, then I became homeschooled, so it'd be a lot more easier, which I started doing that last year.
Mm-hmm. That's good. But anyway, Shale, it was really a challenge for you. But right now, in the midst of the pandemic, the kind of how do you call this, the modality, the delivery of learning, it's just the same as that right now. Children are stay-at-home learners, and then the school will just send them things to study online. So that's just it. Speaking of the pandemic, how did it affect your career? I believe you had
Um,
stop for a while, right?
Yeah, a lot of projects and auditions like slowed down and everything, but things are starting to kind of like pick back up now.
How many days or weeks or months did you were you able to somehow relax? No calls from producers, no call from directors. Just had to relax, like just stay in Florida. How many weeks or months?
Well, we were in California when it happened. So, well, we had just came back from filming in New York, like the week before everybody had to go into quarantine. And then so that kind of happened in March. So, and then we went home to Florida and Orlando in May, and then we came back out here in August.
Mhm. But I think that's just a short break. At least you were able to relax. And now you're back in your fighting form and you're ready to make the project. In fact, you have already started. I saw a picture in Facebook where you were like hugging this man, I think portraying the role of Batman. What was that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a so one of the people with who I'm working with in the future with production called Bat in the Sun. We're working on like two movies, one being Legend of the White Dragon, but he really wanted to work with me sooner than doing the two movies, so we decided he was already doing this Batman project, so he said that he would like love to put me in as a little cameo. So they kind of stopped filming. They were kind of done filming, and then they put me in like last minute, and it was a very emotional scene. So that goes along with one of like the hardest scenes was that one because it was very emotional, and I just got the script like a few days before I actually had to do it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was like a short scene, so it wasn't too difficult.
Mhm. We're going to actually check the project of yours. When going back to Orlando, when you had to like take a hiatus of your career, we lost your mother at that time. And what do you always tell yourself about losing your mother? And what is your advice to those kids who uh, lost their mothers to whatever reason at a very young age, like you were 15? What do you always tell yourself, and what's your advice to those kids?
I just say, I guess just keep going. I think that's the number one thing for anything. But yeah, so just keep going.
Yes, and we're so happy your family here back in the Philippines, and that of course includes me and your auntie and your cousins, are very happy that you're moving on. And I know your mother is watching over us right now, and I'm sure she's smiling because finally we're doing what she really wanted to unite, to like connect. And this is really a good start. And soon, maybe we'll see each other in the US. Okay, let's talk about, of course, your number one award in life is your family, your mother, your brother, Stefan, and your father, of course, who's still with you right now, guiding you. Aside from that, you also have nominations and awards. Can you name a few that you can remember that are really memorable to you? Awards or nominations that are really memorable?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's these two award shows called Young Artist Awards and Young Entertainer Awards that are like specifically for people, I mean, or kids in the industry. So that way they have like their own award show. So I've gotten a few awards from them. That means a lot. Like I got leading young actress in a short film and also best supporting young actress in a short film.
Wow. What was that? What, I don't know if that's a nomination or award, but I saw also one of your pictures in Facebook wherein you attended an awards night with your grandma and your mother and your father. Like it was complete. Was it Oscars? I mean, can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, it was the Oscar viewing party. So, yeah, and then I got an award there because we know the people who put it on, and they really loved like my story and my acting. So they gave me a honor award.
Ah, okay, that's great. It's so surreal, Chalet, that you are my niece and you are a Hollywood actress now, who started as a child actress and now a very prominent teen actress in the United States. For in the Philippines, some people are really, find it really very amazing to have or to know someone or to have a family member who has a Hollywood career in the USA. For some people, it's really a big deal. So somehow now that I'm interviewing you, it's very surreal. So thank you. Thank you very much for saying yes. I know yesterday you were really tired after the fashion show, so we had to postpone the interview, but I didn't really mind. What's important, the bottom line is we can really get this together and we can make this happen for your mom who's watching us right now and for your relatives and family in the Philippines who are thrilled to watch this video and my YouTube subscribers too. The final topic that I'd like to talk about is social media. How did you start social media? What was the first social media that you joined in?
I know, well, because I started so young. My dad had the control of my social media at those times because I was like so young. I believe like he started the social medias when I was like 8 or 9, and he did like Facebook and then Instagram and then Twitter. So yeah.
So when did you start controlling your own social media? Oh, well, you have an Instagram account, right?
Yes.
Did someone from did an agent or did someone from an agency or an employee of a producer, you know, how do you call this, control your social media? Or only your father? Who?
They gave like tips and pointers of what like works better, what helps better. But we mainly did it.
Do you consider social media very crucial, very important to the development, the progress of your career? Is it really, really important?
Yeah, I try not to like make it such a priority, but it is important for like to get yourself out there and get your projects and everything out there.
Correct. And did you have were you able to I'm sure you've received already a lot of good comments, positive comments from people. But was there a time when when a basher comment, like a negative comment reached you? Was there a time or you just have to
Um, I've had pretty solid and positive like fans, so there's not that like many that like stands out or anything like that.
that's good. And if ever there would be in the future, all you need to do is just to brush it off, ignore it, and then just tell yourself that, hey, I'm just gonna prove you wrong. Instead of spending time, replying to them, you just have to just prove them wrong. That's just it. That's just it.
Hmm.
Okay. How can we reach you? So of course we have Instagram, Chalet Brannan One, right? Chalet Brannan One, and
It's Shy Lizette Brandon one.
Chalet Lizette Brannan number one. That's in Instagram, and your Facebook is Chalet Lizette Brannan. Do you have
Yes.
other social media accounts? No.
I have Twitter as well, and that's Shy Lizette Brandon.
You also have you also have Twitter. Okay.
Yes.
So now you're in Burbank, California. You just had the fashion show, just like what I said earlier. What are happening in the next few months or the next following weeks?
Like I said earlier, we're looking to film the new Star Trek
Oh,
in November.
mm,
And then I know there's a few more movies like The Legend of the White Dragon we're looking to film pretty soon too, like in October, November-ish as well.
okay. So thank you very much, Shalay. Last is what's your message to all your fans, to current and future fans? What's your message to them?
I guess thank you for following me and sticking with me through like this journey. Yeah, thank you.
By the way, I just remembered. Did you have an opportunity to learn the first language of your mother? Like our first language is Cebuano Visayan, like the Bisaya. We also have a Tagalog and a Filipino. Did you have an opportunity to learn, or it was hard for you? Especially you started six and you were busy then.
I've been wanting to. I do know a few words, and I've been like trying to like get apps to like help me learn it because I've been trying to learn it for a long time.
And I know your mom was really busy working also at that time. But was there a time when she cooked like Filipino food, or did you have a chance to eat Filipino food in a restaurant, or You do.
Yeah, she's cooked a few Filipino food, but she has like a bunch of friends that also worked for Disney that were Filipino, so we would always go to parties and they would have like Filipino food. I know they have like a Christmas thing every year, and it would be like these like leaves, and then they would like dump rice on it and then dump seafood all over it,
Ah,
like, and they would put it on the table.
what
And
we
then I
call budol.
also,
That's what we call budol, the one that you just described. That's budol.
yeah, yeah, so I get a lot of I stick with a lot of the food from like all those parties. And then when I came out to California, I had Jollibee, and I have it a lot because I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's Jollibee in California, of course. So do you like Filipino food? You know, based from experience, did you
Yeah,
like
I like Filipino.
when you
Mhm.
go to Jollibee? What do you order usually?
Well, from Jollibee, I just had Jollibee literally yesterday. I love their chicken and like their spaghetti. I think that's like the main things that I get.
How about rice? What's your stand on rice? White rice. Do you eat it?
Uh, no, I like rice. I like white rice with chicken. Uh, yeah, that, and I also like the little like sticks, how they put like the meat on the stick and everything. So I like those.
Like
Mhm.
I'm asking you these questions because in the Philippines, Jollibee is for me one of the biggest, if not the biggest, one of the biggest fast food chains. And now it's in the US, so it's really thrilling for Filipinos. And of course, white rice is a staple food of the Filipinos. We can't survive without rice. But your mother, of course, adapted to the culture, and so she learned to just get satisfied with burgers and all that stuff. But anyway, what's your last? I'm a foodie, so I really love to ask food questions. What's your favorite? What's your favorite meal?
Um, in general, I like pasta, like Italian food. I like pastas.
Maybe chalet. Yeah, pasta is of course very good. Maybe chalet in a different episode, in a different show of mine. We will talk about beauty and your lifestyle advice to your fans, but that will be on a different episode. For now, you've opened like um, the pages of your life's book. Thank you very much. And I'm so happy that this is done. I'm looking forward to more projects and reuniting with you and your family there. Thank you very much and have a great day. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.